Woodbury Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for April. Today's April 10th. Our next meeting, for those curious and interested, is scheduled for Wednesday, the 8th of May. If you would all stand and join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Take a moment to introduce the board. On my far left, your right, is Ms. Beverly Silvera. Next is Mr. Michael Wozniak. Next is Mr. Ed DeJesus. To my immediate left, Ms. Rachel Bruce. I'm Craig Brady. And to my right is our counsel, Kelly Naughton. We have no executive session or attorney-client session this evening. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from our last meeting?
Yes, we have.
Motion by Rachel.
Second.
Second by Beverly. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. We have no new business this evening. We have no action on decisions this evening. Our first activity then is a continuation of a public hearing regarding 58 Quaker. This is a hearing appealing the determination of Building Inspector Michael Piniella of the use of the property located at 58 Quaker Road, Highland Mills, New York. Allegedly, a commercial business processing firewood was not in violation of the Village of Woodbury zoning code. Said property is located in the R1A zoning district at 58 Quaker Road in Highland Mills and is known in the Village of Woodbury tax maps as Section 246, Block 1, Lot 52. So we're reopening the public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak to this application? Please.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me all right?
Good evening. It's not on. It's either not on or...
Hello?
Now it
Is that on now?
Yep.
Hello? Okay. Well, I have a pretty loud voice. I'll be as quiet as possible.
Probably the easiest thing to do is take the mic out of the holder completely and just hold it.
I'll do my best. Okay, I do have one question just to start. The last time I was here, I made reference to the idea of, was this a home occupation? And I just wanted to clarify that last time I was here. And it seemed that I got a little blowback and I was corrected. It is based upon a home occupation. Am I missing anything on that? Because I got a letter in the mail from the board. It says Village of Woodbury Zoning Board of Appeals. Now, Mr. Brady, it does have your name on the bottom, but I don't know who actually wrote this. But it's saying in parentheses, allegedly a commercial business processing firewood. I don't know where you're getting that term, but my complaint was based on a zoning rule law, not for a commercial firewood business, which is a totally separate business. It has no relevance here. But based upon it's already here in writing, it kind of leads me to believe that there's some way to make this operation acceptable. And I'm all ears to hear if that's possible, because, you know, it's not just that I don't like his business, it's that if it's okay for him, then it's okay for me, and then I can make money and do it myself. But it seems that that's not really where it's going. There is an actual difference between the two terms, and I'll read it for you. A statute that states that a commercial business means business establishment which furnishes goods or services to either the general public or other commercial operations. Now, a home occupation means a business carried on within a dwelling which business is incidental to the use of the dwelling for dwelling purposes. So there could be some miscommunication and some language that may change the opinion of this board to say, well, wait a second, maybe he's really not a home occupation. Maybe he's an industrial, a commercial wood chopping business, and that's all he is. And I would say, great, that would be spectacular if you actually had a code that gave him that authority to do that in a residential neighborhood, which you don't. You actually have the exact opposite for a commercial, retail commercial. Now, where is this? And it's very quick to see. It's on the Village of Woodbury, New York. It is your codes. And 310-32. So 310-32. And it says retail commercial development. Boom, we hit that one. And what does it say? Purpose, the purpose of the limited commercial district as expressed in the schedule zoning district regulations. This is for here. This is our town we live in. Limited business activity portions of Route 32. Not in a residential neighborhood. So you can't have a commercial, industrial, or commercial wood cutting business.
Mr. Clark, if I could interrupt you for 1 second. 31032 is for retail commercial development in the LC district specifically.
Right. You don't have a provision for firewood business under commercial. But somebody put the words in there as commercial business. I'm just trying to make a relevant case to say, okay, if I go with that wording, where is it in your zoning codes that allow a commercial firewood business to be operated in a residential street other than what you have proposed here in the codes? So there is some discrepancies on where you can look for codes to see what you're allowed to do. And if they're not there, you have another code for that. It goes to the next highest stringent regulation there is by the state, not by the village or the town. So if you don't have a provision for it and somebody wants to do it, then the only way you can allow him to do that is to give him a special use permit. Now, there's no application for a special use permit here. So we're just dealing with home occupation. And the very first regulation that I put in my complaints, and just to clarify, I put down Building Inspector Code 96-3, Chapter 96, Village of Woodbury, New York, New York General Legislation. His job is what I quoted. He is a code enforcement officer and inspector. So, let's go back here. I complained about outdoor commercial display. Now, he's storing it and displaying it. So maybe that's where you get the word from commercial. That's okay. It's still considered a home occupation. And in a home occupation, it must be indoors in the building of where you're living, not exceeding 25% of the actual living space for that operation. Now, if you want to go outside of the building, you have to have another structure for your operation in your own words, and it has to conform to the way the homes look in the neighborhood. This is why they put that there. Commercial, industrial on state roads, residential, you do your home work. That's all I'm here for. Now, there are a couple of other things that, whether or not you've made your decision, and I hope that you find in a positive way, but if you don't, that's okay too. Life goes on. But I'd like you to think about this. Just recently, we had an earthquake. Kind of funny, makes everybody laugh. One earthquake, and how many decades have we not had an earthquake? But I do recall seeing yesterday yourself, sir, driving by and visualizing the property for what I'm complaining about. Whether or not you actually saw all the stockpiles of wood that are for sale, which are kind of obvious, I hope you didn't miss some of the round, giant pieces of log that takes a good picking up on and putting it down is on top of another log right up on the slope of the hill. So the earthquake could have just rocked that down rolled it right down to their home, to somebody walking up and down the street. Did I have to say that? I clearly feel like I gotta give you my feeling, what's happening there, because I'm the only one tonight, or now we've had a few other people that are complaining, but you have some other people here that think that this is okay. If it's okay for him, why isn't he on his own front lawn? His house is a corner lot. He can't have it on the front lawn, and he's on his corner lot. He's on the front lawn. I went through this with you guys before with the fence. I can't put up a 6-foot fence on a corner lot. So when you hit the possibility of hurting somebody with this activity, maybe 6 months ago, a year, 2 years ago, when I complained to Michael Piniella, he would have said, hey, safety's number one if you're gonna do this. Still no safety. And more wood is cut down, opening up more space for more wood to go down in the possibility of, I don't know, a huge rainstorm, mud driving it, mudslide. I'm very well aware of mudslides because I work in the environmental industry. And if you don't have vegetative growth on a slope of dirt and you pull away all the vegetation, when it rains and it gets muddy, and we had a lot of rain, it's gonna wash stuff away. And it's gonna wash those trunks or whatever's holding underneath, and it's gonna drop on the ground. That's just safety. Now we have visibility. We're gonna lower our property values because now we're gonna be doing commercial activity in residential neighborhoods where people wanna buy a home and raise their children, walk up and down the street. That I have to explain this seems really sad for the group that's here backing this operation. Like, just bring it someplace where you can actually do it legally, not possibly hurting anybody. I guess really it comes down to that you only have one regulation on a home occupation, and you can't store and display it. So I've given all of my personal opinions on why it's not advisable to have this business there. I gave some regulatory codes that are in your codes. I hope you find them, I guess enlightening, somehow engaging to realize that this is something that needs to be rectified. It can be fixed fairly simple. Go and do it on your own front lawn, or go find a piece of property that legitimately says, hey, this is what you can do here. Pay for it and do it. That's what I do. I have my own property for business. I do my own recycling. I don't do it in a residential neighborhood. But if I'm allowed to, you better sure I will be doing it. So thank you very much, and thank you. That's all I have to say. Oh, and again, I'm an ass. I'm so sorry. I did not ask if you have any questions for me, and if you do, I'm so sorry.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Anyone else wishing to speak to this application? Going once? Please.
Okay, good evening. I always like to say, this makes me really nervous and very uncomfortable to talk in front of so many people.
Sure.
But
Can you just
yes,
introduce yourself?
right, thank you. My name is Libra Bank, and I have property, a lot on Evans Drive. And the reason I would like to just take this time before you, I can't help but want to I'm here for the same reasons, and everything that Dave Clark said, I'm actually feeling very emotional because it does seem just so, I don't know, practical or logical that all that he stated really does seem that just everything I just feel that everything that he stated is really true. And of course, it will be up to you to, figure it out. But I do have concerns about safety. I have property I'd like to develop. That's a concern of the value and all that hardship that goes along with it. But again, it just comes down to what is really, true. I mean, in the interest of justice, it would really be nice to see just to see justice and what is laid before us and the laws and everything that you have written, that it just be upheld. And that's all that I would want to, state for the record. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to this application? Going once? Going twice? Good. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Ed, second by Rachel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is closed. Board comments, discussion?
Looking at the evidence that we have before us, specifically the pictures and stuff like that, I find it hard to believe that the building inspector did not find anything wrong with the operation of this business. It's clearly that they're storing stuff that appears to be too big in accordance to the regulations for a home business. So it makes me hard to agree with the building inspector on this one.
Okay. Beverly, any comments?
Agreeing with Ed, with the inventory, and that maybe we should revisit the,
Yeah, use the mic, Deb.
okay, maybe we should revisit the home versus commercial business and, make some improvements there in those codes.
So you're talking from a code perspective, refer it to the village board
Yeah.
for review of the code itself.
Or whichever body does it.
It
And if-
would be the village board of trustees, yeah.
Right. Maybe a recommendation.
Recommendation to the village board of trustees?
You certainly can do that. I know that they are watching these meetings, so they'll be aware of this as well. But just so the board, just to remind the board that the home occupation determination that was made in January of 2023 is not under review by this board, but I understand your point, and certainly will make sure that the Board of Trustees is aware of that.
I happen to,
Mike.
sorry.
No, use the mic.
Sorry. I thought you were referring to Mr.
Sorry.
Wozniak for a moment. I happen to agree. And, while these codes put together some years ago, obviously it's worth reviewing some aspects of them. You hear about different businesses within the community that are, operating, an illegal taxi business or carpooling or logging, for instance. And I think that if people, this is the United States of America, people have the ability in this country to start businesses, but there need to be regulations on the local level for occupations that you cannot do within the home. So I would like to just echo Beverly's sentiments on that.
Okay, but, so let's, just as a reminder, the building inspector determined in early 2023, based on the original complaint that Mr. Clark made, that this was a home occupation. That decision was not appealed, and it expires 30 days. So we cannot consider that tonight.
No.
Home occupation, it is a home occupation until the Village Board of Trustees were to change the code.
No, I understand.
Okay, so sorry, no, there is no time for discussion now, sir. We are deliberating. So I understand that, but I just want to remind that home occupation is what we're dealing with. It's the other portions of the code related to the home occupation and the storage, okay, and the location of that we can determine, all right?
Yeah. No, I understand.
Okay,
No, and
I
thank
just want to make sure it's clear.
Yeah, of course. No, thank you. I understand. No, thank you for clarifying that. No, I understand that completely.
I mean,
Oh, sure. No, by all means, go ahead.
based on the pictures I've seen in my personal going out there, it clearly, to me, that this business is in violation of Section 310-24, which is outdoor display of merchandise. And also probably 310-33, or 33 or 32, I forget.
33.
33,
Oh.
about the size of it, or the location. And that's what I think we need to get the building inspector to go back and to issue a violation for both of those regulations. I mean, to me, that's the least we could do. Especially since we cannot comment on the actual business itself.
Yes. Would that, in that instance, would it get referred back to the planning board ultimately, correct?
Well, so what we're dealing with in terms of the storage is one part, but 31033 essentially requires that a home occupation that's located in other than the principal structure, which really this occupation is not located in any structure, right? It's outdoors. So therefore, it would require a special permit from the planning board. So ultimately, if the homeowner decided to continue the business and wanted to, they would need to apply for a special permit to the planning board, yes.
All right. Thank you.
Presuming we go down that road. I don't want to speak for the board or anybody else, but if we do determine that, then that would be the next recourse for the homeowner. Anything else?
No, do you have comments?
I certainly, as Mr. Clark noted, I was there yesterday. He saw me drive by. I have been up there several times. Anytime I drive by, I essentially cut through because I'm coming down 32. I have not witnessed a single occurrence of actual wood processing at any point in time. So it is not a constant basis. I don't know what the frequency is, but we know it's not 24/7. The amount of wood that's there and the amount of logs, clearly this is not for personal use. And it's simply, I agree with you, Ed, that the amount that's there exceeds the 500 square feet, I believe, is the amount that could be stored. So it's in excess of that. So I would agree that we should remand this to the building inspector as such.
All right, so should I just make a motion?
So, hold on. So, consistent with your discussions tonight, then, that would be finding, and if this is not correct, please let me know.
Okay.
Reversing the building inspector's determination, the February 2024, again, it's not the January one, that there were no violations on the property, finding that the property is in violation of 31024 by displaying or storing the commercial merchandise outdoors, recognizing the January decision, which is that the low-level firewood processing was a home occupation, but finding that based on the amount of firewood that's displayed and the amount of property that's involved, that it has exceeded the home occupation definition, which is the 500 square feet. And it's located not in the principal structure, so if it's in a different structure, then it needs to go to the planning board for a special permit. And then if that's the case, then you would also be ordering the building inspector to issue a notice of violation for this, for the property, and that it be brought into, you want it to be brought into a compliance within, I would say, 30 days.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then you could make a motion consistent with the terms that I just discussed.
Right.
I'll make a motion consistent with the terms of our attorney.
A second?
Second by Beverly. Any discussion? Okay, roll call. Beverly?
Aye.
Mike?
I, as stated before, I'll abstain from this vote.
Mike abstains. Ed?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Where'd he go? Okay. His head was behind somebody. So they just voted on your application. A decision will be available from the building department tomorrow, but you heard that they are directing the building inspector to issue a notice of violation.
Yeah, there was a question on that. Do I ask him or do I ask you?
I,
Yeah, I asked for it.
no, the public hearing's over? Okay. But I believe I have your email, so I believe I have your email, so once this is done, I can also send you the decision, so you have it.
If I had a question about the decision, it's not risk enough, but it's just that I'm a little stickler on words, so I was just wondering, would I speak to Michael after you send this to me, or would I send a response in the email?
If you have a question about the specific wording, why don't you start and respond to me? Okay. If it then needs to go to the building inspector, I'll let you know. That way I can give you who needs to be talked to.
Okay, thank you. Our next application is Valley Seafood. This is a public hearing requesting a variance for the construction and conversion of an existing structure to residential apartments, whereas pursuant to Section 310-6F and 310-7, the proposed conversion requires 22,000 square feet of lot area, where 21,209 square feet are provided. Said property is located in the HB zoning district along Valley Avenue in Highland Mills and is known in the Village of Woodbury tax maps as Section 230, Block 6, Lot 2. Is the applicant present? Mr. Matko, how are you?
It's been a while, Craig. I'm
Indeed.
Doing well. How about yourself? So, hello, board members. My name is David Nimatko. We're the architectural firm that's working on this project. So, we're here before you requesting an area variance for this project. It's before the planning board at the current time, and we were referred to the zoning board because we'd like to build a second floor over the existing building, which is allowed by your zoning code and it's allowed by the building code. The existing footprint is approximately very close to 2,000 square feet. The second floor would repeat that and be also approximately 2,000 square feet. That 2,000 square feet, if divided in half, could house 2 apartments easily, meeting the local codes and meeting the building code. As a result, your zoning code requires additional square footage in the lot. So the zoning code is broken down as 6,000 square feet of lot area for each unit. So we're proposing 2 units on the second floor, so that would be 12,000, and 10,000 square feet for the current retail establishment or commercial space, which is on the first floor. That totals 22,000 square feet. The existing lot is 21,200 square feet, which leaves a difference of 800 square feet to allow this variance. That 800 square feet represents 3.7% variance, which in many cases could be considered a minor variance. Again, the second floor apartments meet the code. The Hamlet Business District allows the mixed use building, allows the residential use on the second floor. We have the parking established already on the site plan to accommodate the 2 apartments on the second floor, in addition to the retail space on the first floor, so parking is not the concern. We feel it's a reasonable request, and we hope the board feels the same.
Board members, any questions for the applicant? Pretty straightforward?
Yeah, pretty straightforward.
All right. If nothing else, I'll open it to the public. So anyone in the public here tonight wishing to speak to the Valley Seafood application? Introduce yourself and
Hi, can you hear me?
yes, sir.
Okay. My name is Eric Rainey. I live in Central Valley on Peroni Lane, which is directly across from the seafood. It's straight view of the property. My wife had wrote in a letter earlier today, so I know that's been
I will
submitted.
be mentioning that.
Unfortunately, she can't be here tonight, so I just wanted to speak my piece on this. I know she took care of the letter and everything like that. A couple of things with the parking. I mean, I would love to see, first of all, if they're going to do something like this, something that adheres to the historic nature of the area. We have a lot of, early 20th century, late 19th century homes, including mine, Ford family house, famous person from the area from, long ago. The parking thing, I would love to see. I don't know how we can get a picture of what that would look like. We see trucks and stuff parked out. We had, even just a few months ago, there was a huge, looked like a moving van that was parked right in front of it for over a month. My wife, Rick runs the CIM Motorsports, which is right down so he'll speak up as well, I'm sure. So it's interesting how they want to build more apartments. I mean, it seems like the whole neighborhood is going that way anyway. It used to be, family-owned homes where, again, raise your families and things like that, but it's the way it seems to be turning at this point. But I don't see how you'd want to have apartments right next to the train station. I mean, the train, we hear it and it's, 100 feet away. These apartments are going to be like right on top of the train. So, again, not my decision to make. I'm just stating a fact. You're just trying to cram so much more into a specific area. So, I guess, is it that the moving to this 22,000 square foot threshold turns it into now residential zoned or it's still commercial, but you're allowed to do some? Is that how it works? Okay. Yeah. If that's what it states, then that's what it states.
The zoning code for that district permits mixed use, I believe, would be the
Okay.
right way to phrase it.
It's fine. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to, again, can't really speak for my wife, but again, you have the letter there. She has more detail in it. She read it to me briefly. She had to run out with the dog for the training. What could I say?
Okay.
I get stuck behind. But yes, that's it. Just wanted to
Thank you.
speak up. Yep, thank you.
30 Valley Avenue.
Central Valley.
Central Valley, sorry.
Good evening, members. My name is Rick Lulinski. As Eric mentioned, I own the CIM Motorsport across the street, 41 Smithville Road. I got two stupid questions. How we allowed everybody build more, getting more water, more garbage? I'm living in this town for 27 years. In 26 of those years, it's a summer shortage of water. Every single year it costs me money. Never mind my business, I'm talking about my property. Every summer, I have to replace the shrubs. We're building more houses, we don't have the water. That's number one. Number two, what we do, extra sewer. Sewer plant is right behind my shop. That was just anniversary, 20 years in business. Didn't have 1 month when this place didn't smell bad. What we're gonna do about that? Because the more we're building the hotel, we're building more houses, there's more water, the water department have problems, the sewage department have problems, but we keep saying, yes, go ahead. What about the people who live here paying taxes, okay? This place, as it is, the seafood place, it's joke. You can't drive through it anytime during the day. There's a trucks, there's a garbage, there's a smell. They don't even clean the property. Imagine building another property on the top of that property. How that's gonna do it for all those people around. There's a lot of apartments. There's no parking lots. We're building more. Did anybody thought about people living in this town having problem with the water every single summer? We're building more. Where is the water? Where is the sewage plant being bigger and better? Because I don't see it. I invite you all, come to my shop anytime in the day. especially on a nice hot day, be 20 minutes outside. You'll be out. I have to close my doors, I have to close my windows, and I run air conditioning 24/7 with the filters. I mentioned that problem already years back to the mayor. He was in my shop. He asked me, what do you think? What I think? As an engineering technician, carbon fiber cover with the charcoal activated filters, problem solved. No, we're pumping fluids. A week a day, week at a time, 2 times a week, pumping stuff out, pumping stuff in. We're building more. That's what I want to say. Provide me water, provide me better sewer system, then I may say, okay, because I'm number one who's going to say to that guy, no. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else from the public wish to speak to this application? Maria Hunter.
Maria Hunter, you have to forgive me. Is the seafood place going to stay operational as a business because it is in the HB zone? Because as it is, and the gentleman who lives there, I frequent down in that area, parking is horrendous. You have cars that park in the crossed out hash marks. They don't stay there for the 2 hours. Where the station, this used to be a train station. I'm bouncing here. It's got to be, what, 80, 90, 100 years old? The structure of that building that was built so many years ago, before we even go forward to give a variance on this, were structural tests done that could take additional second floor on there? Because you have the train station, trains constantly going by, could have shaken the ground. Being that it's an old building, these are things that I'm concerned about because it's a safety issue. And right now, with being a seafood place, over the years, I've seen additional refrigerators outside. Granted, they must have had approvals. I haven't been on top of that. But the parking where the train station is supposed to be a certain area. There have been pallets left out there that the building inspector had to go down and have them removed, and there's a constant cleanup down there. If you live in this town, village, Highland Mills, Central Valley, you drive around, you see things. My concern is, one, the safety of the building, the structure, before that can even be approved, to make sure that you have a foundation that can support a second story. And like I said, the train goes by there quite rapidly when I'm sitting down there having lunch or dinner at a certain area down there. And when we've had the tree lighting ceremony and a train goes by. And yes, I do agree with the gentleman. It doesn't matter what time of year, the odor is horrendous. I know the village is working on that, and it's not for this board or anyone else to decide on that. But to have an additional impact, just alone with the odor from the substation that's down there, we have to take a stand and take a step back and use all of this and make our decisions. But thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak to this application? Okay, I'm going to continue this.
Yes, so it should be continued. The application is currently pending before the planning board for the completion of seeker. I don't know when that submission is going to be made to continue the application before seeker, so I would say that this should be adjourned at least 60 days so that that can be completed before you close the public hearing.
Motion?
Motion by Beverly,
Second.
second by Rachel. Any discussion?
To June 12th.
12th, okay.
So noted. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So this will be continued to the June 12th meeting, so presuming that the planning board completes secret.
You go through it with them. It's a coordinated review? So, yes.
So, you will refer here for the variance?
Yes, there's several other applications that go through that are going through the same process, where it's a coordinated review, and the ZBA is an involved agency. So you just need to go back to the planning board, get the FAF Part 2 approved, and then do an expanded Part 3, I'm guessing. Likely an expanded Part 3 or whatever additional material is needed.
I'll make a couple of other notes on this application. The 239M referral to the Orange County Department of Planning, they responded that this is a matter for local determination. And as was alluded to earlier, a public comment was received from resident Pamela Rini. Did I say that properly? Good. By email, she encouraged requiring the applicant to use building materials, and I'm summarizing, not quoting, use building materials consistent with the architectural background of the neighborhood, which consists largely of older buildings. While not a consideration for the variances being requested or for this board, this will be passed along to the planning board for their site plan approval consideration. And that's all we can do on this application at this time. Please.
60-day extension to what date?
The June,
June
right now
12th.
it would be June 12th. That, don't put that in red ink or anything, because that may change.
Yeah.
What's that?
The date could change in June, but it will be in the June meeting, whenever it occurs.
No, I appreciated the public comments, and there's some of the concerns I could alleviate right away. First of all, the design of the building will be beautiful, that I can tell you. We'll make it contextual, we'll make it reflective of the area, and the structure will be assessed and compliant with all the building codes and whatever is needed to make the building safe from sound and from the train station and everything like associated with that type of facility near such a public transportation hub. In addition to that, this is a motivation to revamp that whole site, not to have it was brought up at the planning board several times, and it was discussed with the owner to, once the project starts, to revamp that site, get rid of all these tractor trailers, this outside storage, and this is going to be an impetus to increase and enhance the building and the site use. It's my understanding that the facilities there for the seafood will not be to the extent that it is right now. So this project would be a good way to really beautify that area and cease the operations that are currently being experienced out on the site. It has been brought up by the planning board, it has been discussed with the owner, and I just want to let everybody know that's the impetus, that's the trajectory of this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, one other quick comment that I'll make. I don't know if this is, I guess it is. It's very low, though.
Yeah.
In terms of water, there is a building moratorium that's currently in place until some of the new wells come online. So this project cannot go forward until either they get a hardship waiver, which I would say might be unlikely. Mr. Namatko's agreeing with that. Or new wells come online and the moratorium is lifted. So that's just a comment if you're not aware of that. Our next item on the agenda is signing for Chipotle. This is a public hearing requesting an area variance for the construction of 2 wall signs from Village Code Chapter 310, Attachment 11, relative to the number of wall signs permitted in the IB district. Said property is located in the IB zoning district along Losey Lane in Central Valley and is known in the Village of Woodbury tax maps as Section 225, Block 1, Lot 34.1. The applicant cannot be present tonight and sent communication requesting placement on the agenda for May 8th at our next meeting. But while we're here, I will open the public hearing and ask if there's anyone from the public wishing to speak to the Chipotle signage application. Going once, going twice, sold. May I have a motion to continue the public hearing until May 8th? Motion by Rachel,
Second.
second by Michael. All in favor? Aye. So moved and so approved. Our last item on today's agenda is 26 Stainton Fairway. This is a public hearing requesting a variance for the construction of a roof over the front porch. Ooh, I lost my space. On a single-family dwelling, whereas pursuant to Section 310-36D2 and 310-7, the minimum front yard setback is 25 feet, and the applicant is proposing 19.9 feet. Said property is located in the SH zoning district at 26 Stainton Fairway in Highland Mills, and is known in the Village of Woodbury tax maps, Section 255, Block 1, Lot 81. The applicant is present. Greetings.
Hi, my name is Edie Kaufman from Upland Design. I'm presenting our client 26 Stanton Fairway. Basically, he's proposing to do a covered roof over the front deck, which is located in the front setbacks in the 25 feet. So the existing deck is allowed to be there in the setbacks, but the covered roof, he's seeking to get a variant of 5.5 feet, from 25 feet to 19.9. So it's about 5.5 feet.
Is this a new,
The building is existing.
the building has existed, is it relatively new? Is the owner?
It's relative new, 2018, I think.
I'm sorry, 2018,
18.
okay. Yeah, no, it's- Pretty straightforward. Any questions from the board?
No.
All you're doing is basically putting a roof over the existing.
Correct. You can see it in the 3D in the booklet.
You're not putting anything on the sides, stuff like that. It's still remain open,
Just
just
a roof with columns to hold the roof.
Columns to support the.
want to make sure I'm on the same page. Thank you. I'm good.
No further questions. I'll open the public hearing. Would you like to speak to this application? Anyone else in the public like to speak to this application? Going once, going twice. I've got to go through the formalities. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Ed,
Second.
second by Beverly. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So let's go through a few things. Do I need a motion on SECRA, or?
If you could make a motion.
Make a
that is
motion,
type
it's a good
2.
idea. So I'll make a motion to declare this a type 2 action under SECRA requiring no further review.
Second.
Second by Rachel. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the Orange County Department of Public Works responded on the 5th of April. No review is required under Section 239F. The Orange County Department of Planning responded on the 29th of March, which was received on 4 April that, to the 239M referral, and they determined that this would be a local determination. So, with that, if I can find it in my folders, we can review the 5 factors. There we go. So will the granting of this variance produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or create a detriment to nearby properties? The applicant states no, it's simply a covered deck.
Right. Agree.
Have to agree.
I have to agree. I would agree. Anyone disagree? Okay. Board agrees. Can the benefit you seek be achieved by some other feasible method other than the variance? Applicant states no because the deck is in the setbacks and the stairs are in the setbacks, so to be covered, they need a variance. I would agree with that. Anyone
Yes.
disagree? Okay, board agrees. How substantial is the variance that you are requesting? The applicant says very substantial. I'm going to disagree because it's 20%. It's,
He said very substantial?
yes,
Oh, okay.
I don't
Wrote
I don't
very,
believe
but
that it's.
said not
really-
very.
Sorry, yeah, maybe
He
not
wrote-
very
yeah.
substantial
Yeah.
would be the right way to put it
Yeah.
in this context. It's covering an existing deck.
Yeah.
It's there, so I don't think it's that substantial. So the board
Facing the deck that's
disagrees.
already there, so it's not adding anything to it because we're just covering a deck that's already there.
Exactly, yeah. So the board agrees that this is not very substantial.
Not substantial.
Very good, thank you. Will the granting of the variance have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? Nope, it's just a roof over a deck, says the applicant. It will be similar to neighboring houses.
Can't argue with that.
Well, you could, but you're not going to, okay. So,
It's pretty sure most houses have roofs.
Most, yeah.
so I take it the board agrees with the applicant.
Yes.
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 So noted. Is the alleged difficulty self-created? The applicant states no. While building the house, the owner wasn't aware of how important it is to have a deck over the stairs by the main entry. When he moved in, he realized the difficulty of not having a covered deck.
I mean, I think by nature, most if not all variances are in some way self-created, so we would have to disagree on that, but
Yeah,
It's not a reason to prevent.
yeah, it's
Right.
not any kind of.
it is self-created, but not a reason to prevent.
And I would agree with that sentiment exactly. So we'll, as a board, disagree, but it does not preclude us from granting the variance. Very good. I believe that covers everything. I'll make a motion to direct counsel to prepare a decision consistent with our discussion this evening.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next month, you'll have a finalized decision. Very good. With no further business to conduct, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Rachel,
Second.
second by Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.